Chapter 1884. Going home to Enchanting, Suyi was happy, and she hurriedly welcomed her. You guys are back. Feng Ruching smiled faintly. Suyi, I will take Chainer around first. Oh, where is grandfather? He hasn't come back yet. Oh, Feng Ruching smiled and turned to Feng Chen. She extended her hand to him. Her voice was clear just as it was before. Chainer, let's go. Feng Chen was slightly stunned but still put his hand in her palm. It was as if only the young girl in front of him would make him feel at ease. Nan Xian stood behind Feng Ruching, looking at the two who were already walking away. A smile broke upon his handsome face. Nan Xian. Suyi withdrew her gaze and turned to Nan Xian. How is Feng Chen? Nan Xian shook his head. He does not remember anyone except Qinger. Suyi frowned. What can Qinger do then? Qinger will not leave him alone. If there is a way, she will definitely help him recover. The man stood with one hand on his back, facing the breeze. His gaze turned gentle as he smiled warmly. Inside Tianya's manor, Feng Ruching held Feng Chen's hand gently as she led him through the corridor, trying to make him familiarize himself with every blade of grass and tree in this place. Chainer, this will be our home from now on. The master in this place is our grandfather. You will meet him later. Feng Chen was slightly stunned. He looked up at Feng Ruching. But I just want you. Feng Ruching patted Feng Chen's shoulder and said helplessly. Chainer, he's our grandfather, so you must respect him. Can you understand? Feng Chen answered with some resignation in his voice. All right. Hearing Feng Chen agreeing with her, Feng Ruching smiled as she withdrew her gaze from him. It's good that you understand. Oh, I seem to have forgotten something. On this journey, she always felt that something was missing, but she could not remember. Me for extra chapters. Suddenly, Feng Ruching seemed to remember something, and she slapped her forehead violently. How could she forget the two little ones, Fu Chen and Qing Han? So upon remembering these two little ones, Feng Ruching immediately released them from the medium. The moment Qing Han saw Feng Ruching, her eyes turned red. She cried out as if in pain and bounced toward her. Mother, I thought you didn't want us anymore. Her voice filled with tears. No one knew how much she had spent these 2 years in fear and terror. She knew the person that her mother saw when she was unconscious was not the state preceptor. But she had no way to tell her mother, and could only watch her sink into it. Fu Chen's eyes were also a little red. Since they met Feng Ruching, they had never been apart for such a long time. Feng Ruching was unconscious for 2 years, and they lived in sorrow for 2 years. Qing Han did not even eat any spirit herb within these 2 years, as she had no appetite. Looking at these two little ones, Feng Ruching guiltily pulled them into her arms, hugging their tiny bodies tightly, as if this could give them some comfort. Qing Han's face was still pale, and her eyes filled with tears. She thought that her mother did not want her anymore, and had locked them up for 2 years. Chapter 1885. Going home. Feng Ruching did not lock them up in the medium back then. They at least could accompany her and wait for her to wake up. Sorry for making you worry again. I won't lock you up again next time. Qing Han's tears fell like rain. You said the same thing the last time. Feng Ruching was speechless. She cleared her throat a little. I promise, it will never happen again. Qing Han's eyelashes fluttered for a moment before she slowly raised her head. Really? Next time. She would not give anyone the chance to hurt her again. All right, then I'll trust you one more time. Qing Han was still clinging to Feng Ruching's body. Despite these words, she was still reluctant to let go of her hand, seemingly not quite trusting her mother. Fu Chen. Feng Ruching turned to look at Fu Chen. The devil-possessed Chainer, and now he has become a demon. He lost his memory. I don't know if I can help him recover. Fu Chen fell silent. After half a second, he raised his head. Big Black can help him. Big Black. Well, Big Black's blood can temporarily control his demonic nature, and he will not go crazy for the time being, but if you want to remove the demon inside his body completely, that is not so simple. Let me think about it. There must be a way to help him. All right. Feng Ruching looked up at Fu Chen. Where did Big Black go? Why haven't I seen him? I don't know. Fu Chen was locked up in the medium for 2 years, and within these 2 years, the connection between the medium and the outside world was also cut off by phone ruching. So, he did not know where Big Black had gone now. I got it. You guys help me watch Chainer. I'll be back. Feng Ruching assuredly handed Feng Chen to Fu Chen and Qing Han, and she turned to leave. She ran into the White Phoenix as she walked toward the entrance gate. The moment the White Phoenix saw Feng Ruching, its heart flashed with joy and flew toward her. Little Qingqing, I finally see you again. Feng Ruching kicked the White Phoenix 3 meters away. Her face darkened. You stay away from me, or I'll tell Suyi. The White Phoenix's face stiffened. It was just too excited to see Feng Ruching, and almost could not control itself at once. White Phoenix. Fortunately, Feng Ruching quickly changed the topic. Have you seen Big Black? Oh, you mean the dragon? It followed Tianya to Nan City. Why are you looking for it? Me for extra chapters. Well, can you go there for me now and help me get Big Black back? And tell grandfather that I'm awake. When she woke up, Tianya had already gone out and had not returned for several days. And she was in a hurry to find Feng Chen. So she did not look for Tianya. Now since she had returned, it was time to discuss what would happen. She would never give the people who attacked General Manor another chance. Whether those who had come to take Tang Yin, or the Nan family or Nine Gate. They should all pay the price they deserve. A cold light flashed in Feng Ruching's eyes. She smirked. Alright, I'll go now. After hearing Feng Ruching's words, the White Phoenix turned around and flew toward the sky. It was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it had disappeared into the sky. Feng Ruching looked in the direction the White Phoenix went, slowly turned around, and headed toward the backyard. Chapter 1886, Going Home 4. Outside Nan City, Tianya stood calmly with one hand resting on his back. A black dragon hovered in the sky, looking down at the people below coldly. Where is Nanfang? Tell him to get out. Tianya's voice was cold, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. A group of guards stood outside Nan City. They looked at the old man in red robes in the sky with caution in their gazes. 2 years. This old man's strength seemed to have improved a lot again. Now that their master wanted to deal with Tianya, it might take even more time. Master is not in the city, the guard said expressionlessly. Tianya sneered. Oh, then I'll go in and see whether this bastard is here or not. Tianya raised his hand, and a long sword appeared out of thin air. The bitterly cold wind blew relentlessly, filling the whole city gate area with a cold aura. However, without waiting for Tianya to strike, a strobe of white light burst through the sky and landed in front of him and Big Black. Big Black saw the White Phoenix at a glance. It was stunned and asked, Why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be at home guarding little Nine? What are you doing here? The White Phoenix, who was perhaps running all the way wildly here and looked a little out of breath, did not even glance at Big Black before turning to look at Tianya. Little Qingqing is awake. In fact, Feng Ruching had already woken up a few days ago, but she had gone out to find Feng Chen. So they did not tell Tianya. Now that Feng Ruching had brought Feng Chen back with her, they should come to inform Tianya. Tianya's hand holding the longsword trembled. He suddenly stepped forward and grabbed the White Phoenix. What did you just say? Qing'er woke up? Ha 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 ha. Qing'er has finally woken up. Tianya laughed out wildly. No one knew how he had spent the past 2 years. But he could not accompany her and wait for her to wake up like the others. He had to go and avenge her. Therefore, he forced himself to leave General Manor and came to settle the score with the Nan family. Now Feng Ruching had finally woken up. Nanfang is lucky today. I'll let him go now, but he'll be back soon. Seeing his precious granddaughter was important now, Tianya did not stay any longer. His body moved as fast as the wind. In a moment he had disappeared into the sky. Big Black froze, its heart filled with incomparable excitement. Me for extra chapters. It looked at the tightly closed city gate behind it, and stayed no longer. It flew into the sky and disappeared too. The entire city gate instantly fell silent. Even those guards of Nan City were a little dumbfounded. Just a moment ago, Tianya was so aggressive. How come he had run away in the blink of an eye? However, they did not think anymore as they turned around and closed the gate. They had to hurry to their master to report this matter. Inside Nan Manor's study room, Nanfang sat calmly and expressionlessly. His face was cold and serious, and the wind around him was bitterly cold. Master! The guard hurried in and knelt in front of Nanfang. Tianya and Black Dragon have left. Left? Nanfang frowned. With Tianya's character, how could he leave just like that? It seems like he left because Feng Ruching has woken up. Feng Ruching? This name made Nanfang tremble with rage. It's her and Nan Xian who came and took my Suyi from me. He would never forget that. Chapter 1887. The person behind Nanfang Wei Rong walked in from outside the study room, and she could not help but smile coldly as she saw Nanfang's darkened face. Are you thinking about Nan Suyi again? Nanfang frowned and glanced at Wei Rong expressionlessly. This has nothing to do with you. Just do your job. Do my job. Wei Rong sneered. My husband is thinking about other women all day long. How can I sit back and do nothing? Nanfang, do not forget how you once courted me. And do not forget that Suyi even has a son. Do you want this kind of impure woman too? Shut up. Nanfang snapped, red in the face with veins bulging around his forehead. Get out. Wei Rong looked at Nanfang. Her eyes had turned from the initial anger to calmness. This time, she did not say another word and simply turned around to walk out. Nanfang clenched his fists tightly. Marrying Suyi was a dream he had since he was young. However, he did not really love her. It was just that this woman had always fought him, and he had never gotten her. So he just wanted to fulfill this dream. Guard, Nanfang shouted coldly. Within a few moments, a guard stood in front of Nanfang, respectfully. Yes, master. How is Nan Luo? A cold light flashed in his eyes, a light that made people shudder a little. Master, young lady is not very well. Oh, go meet her. Within a small, remote courtyard, fallen leaves were drifting about. This place looked somewhat lonely. There was a wooden house that looked simpler than the other courtyards of the Nan family. Nan Luo wore a white dress, curled up in bed, her messy hair draped over her shoulders, and her eyes were filled with panic. Creak. Me for extra chapters. The door was pushed open. Nan Luo looked up. After looking at the middle-aged man standing in the doorway, she panicked and hurriedly took a few steps backward. Father, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please don't hit me. Please. Nanfang stood with one hand on his back. His eyes were sharp and fierce like a long sword, making Nan Luo tremble harder. She never knew that her father could be so terrifying to such an extent. When Nanfang treated her as a daughter, she was the most respectful young lady of the Nan family. But she was even worse than a servant once she made Nanfang unhappy. Nan Luo, do you know what you've done? Nan Luo raised her eyes in horror. I shouldn't hide in Tianya's manor and ignore you. Father, I know I was wrong. Please let me go. Tears fell from her eyes, her face was pale, and her voice trembled a bit when she spoke. Bang! Nanfang suddenly stepped forward and kicked Nan Luo in her chest, sending her flying straight out. Her body hit the wall. Her tears flowed again from the pain. What exactly is wrong with you? His face darkened as he picked up Nan Luo's lapel with a hand. Nanfang was like the devil from hell. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Nan Luo bit her lip hard, tears fell like rain. I shouldn't have thoughts about Nan Xian. Chapter 1888. The person behind Nanfang Nan Xian was Suyi's son, and Nanfang hated him. Therefore, she should not have thoughts about Nan Xian, let alone try to betray her father for him. It looks like you still don't know your mistake. Nanfang picked up Nan Luo's lapel and dragged her to her knees in front of him. He sneered. At first, when your mother scolded you, Suyi backed you up, so she was clearly soft on you. But why is Suyi suddenly disgusted with you? You were soft to her and did not drug her. Later, you lost her trust, and she ran away from me. It's all your fault. Nan Luo was dumbfounded. Her tears were pouring as she said, It's not me. It's Feng Ruching's fault. Feng Ruching? Nanfang pulled Nan Luo fiercely. His face remained expressionless. Tell me. Nan Luo gathered the courage to look up. Her face was pale. Aunt Suyi had promised to take me away. But Feng Ruching knew that I have a feeling for Nan Xian. She hated me, so she forbade Aunt Suyi to take me. Father, it really has nothing to do with me. Feng Ruching talked bad about me in front of Aunt Suyi. I can do nothing. Nanfang let go of his hand and sneered. Most of the spirit beasts in Spirit Beast Mountain were taken away by this woman. And she has also snatched Suyi from me. She ruined my plan. Seeing that Nanfang believed her words, Nanluo let out a sigh of relief. She then looked at Nanfang timidly. Her voice was weak. Father, it's not that I don't want to contact you, but Feng Ruching has sent her men to watch me. I don't have a chance to reach the Nan family. I'm afraid that if she finds out, I will be kicked out of Tianya's manor. Nanluo staggered from the bed and knelt in front of Nanfang. Her voice was tinged with sobs. How could I betray you? Moreover, if father gets Aunt Suyi, I can also get Nan Xian. But Feng Ruching did not allow Aunt Suyi to keep me. I have a miserable life in Tianya's manor. But for you, father, I will endure all the pain. Nanfang was silent for a moment. Nanluo was timid and somewhat useless, but she would not lie. This was something he could still understand as her father. Moreover, Feng Ruching was indeed bad-natured and jealous, and it was normal for her not to allow Nanluo to approach Nan Xian. However, Nanluo had failed the mission he gave her, and he would not accept any excuse to cover up her uselessness. Me for extra chapters. If I let you go to Suyi again, can you make her like you again? Nanfang asked coldly. Nanluo raised her head in shock. Father, Aunt Suyi hates me now. I have no way to make her like me again. Moreover, Feng Ruching has woken up, so it's hard to approach Aunt Suyi again. Nanluo, do you know that you can change your body? Change my body? Nanluo was dumbfounded. Isn't this something that only the powerful, skilled masters can do? What does father mean by this? I plan to let you take over a body, and change your body to find Suyi. At that instant, Nanluo's face was pale. She knew that to change her body, she must die first. Father, Nanluo panicked, kowtowing on the ground. I don't want to die. Please don't kill me. I can just change my face and go to Aunt Suyi again. Idiot. Nanfang kicked her fiercely. With Feng Ruching and Tianya's ability, won't they notice you? Only changing the whole body can give you the chance to get close to them. Nanluo fell to the ground helplessly. She raised her head to look at Nanfang, her face showing despair. Father, I am your daughter. How can you do this to me? Am I even your daughter? Nanluo's voice cracked. Just because you're my daughter, I want to help you. You like Nan Xian, right? Why don't you change your identity and approach him again? Nanfang looked down at the young girl on the ground coldly. Nanluo looked down and laughed bitterly. I do like him, but I do not want to give up my life for this reason. Even after I change my identity and approach him again, the ending will never change. He already has Feng Ruching. Father, don't you understand this? Is there such a thing as a faithful man that will never cheat in this world? All men are the same. You failed. And it means that your ability is not enough. If you were capable, you would be his wife by now. Nanluo looked up at Nanfang trembling. Nanfang's eyes filled with so much terror that her heart was shivering as she faced him. Father, I still don't want to die, even for his sake. I don't want to die. Nanluo lowered her head. She had always thought that she was Nanfang's daughter. And no matter how much Nanfang favored men over women, she would not be treated too badly. However, the punishment she received in the past 2 years had long made her disheartened. Perhaps Suyi was right at the beginning. She should leave the Nan family. At least, she would not live worse than a dog. It was already too late to regret. Me for extra chapters. A person who could even poison his adoptive father, such a person, could he be considered a human? It is not up to you. Nanfang raised his hand and grabbed Nanluo fiercely. His face was cold as he said, Nanluo, you must obey me this time. Otherwise, your life will be worse than this past 2 years. Moreover, I found someone for you. Guard, bring her in. The guard pushed a girl into the room. The girl was so beautiful that no words could describe her beauty. Her skin was as fair as snow, but her hair was a bit messy, covering her face. However, just looking at her side profile was enough to make people's hearts flutter. Nanluo's lips trembled as she looked up at Nanfang. Father, she, a member of Nine Gate. She's the only daughter of the venerable Hui Yen from Nine Gate. I have put in a lot of effort to get her here. Nan Luo, I'm helping you because you are my daughter. She has an honorable status in Nine Gate, and you will not suffer in the Nan family again. But, he sneered and turned to Nan Luo. I have a way to make you take her body, and a way to get you out of it. If you still dare to betray me this time. Chapter 1890. The person behind Nanfang 4-inch, I won't give you a second chance. Nan Luo looked up in a panic. Nanfang gave her no chance to speak, and grabbed her neck with one hand. He snapped Nan Luo's neck hard, and she fell to the ground unconscious. The people who followed Nanfang were stunned. They had always known that their master was a cruel man. But this was his daughter. Yet, he was so cruel to his daughter. Perhaps in the Nan family, only the young master, Nan Feiyu, could soften Nanfang's heart. Everyone else was just a tool for him to use. However, no one knew that even the young master was also his tool. The only thing was that this tool still had great use, so of course, Nanfang would treat him well. If the young master were useless one day, Nanfang would throw him away, and his life would be no different from the garbage. At least, Wei Rong sincerely cared for her son. Get rid of her body, and then put this woman to a room to let her rest. When she wakes up, the soul that resides in her body will become Nan Luo. Nan Luo should thank me for giving her this opportunity. If Nan Luo could have this woman's face, she wouldn't have been treated coldly by Nan Xian. She failed to seduce Nan Xian because she wasn't good enough. Nanfang loved beauty, so there were no men who would not fall for beauty in his mind. It was like the first time he saw beautiful Suyi. He could not forget her, and he had to get her with all his efforts. Even if it was only for a short time, it was enough. Yes, master. The guards looked somewhat scared of Nanfang. They did not even see that the moment they left, Nanfang was staring at them coldly. After everyone had disappeared, an indistinct figure stood behind Nanfang. This person was dressed in black, indescribably weird and cold. Nanfang turned to look at the man in black behind him and asked, "What do I need to do next?" The man in black laughed coldly. "What comes next I'll tell you later, and it's not easy to deal with Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian. Me for extra chapters. Why? I feel that her strength is no better than Tianya. Why do you think they are the most difficult people to deal with?" "Why?" The man in black sneered. "Of course it's because of the 9th emperor in Nan Changfeng. Back then, he managed to gather everyone and attacked Nan Changfeng to force the 9th emperor out. In that battle, they did seriously injure Nan Changfeng, and even killed him. However, it was also because of that battle, all of them suffered serious losses. The 9th emperor was like a madman. She stained the entire mainland with blood. Only strong men could conquer this mainland, and they had always bullied the weak one until the appearance of the 9th emperor. She always liked to meddle. Once his men had merely killed an innocent, and this madman locked them in the sculpture. He had to stay inside a brick for so many years. Chapter 1891. The person behind Nanfang Vichy moved the sculpture to the man's grave, even set up a formation that could not let other people in, and made him kneel in front of that grave for 1,000 years. The commoners regarded her as a god. However, to him, this madman was a devil. Even after they gathered countless skilled masters to kill her several times, she was too strong. They failed to defeat her. In the end, they killed Nan Changfeng, but caused all the powerful skilled masters in this mainland to die in her hands. Feng Ruqing is not something you can mess with. For the time being, you should hide and not start any conflict with Tianya, the man in black said coldly. Nanfang froze. He really wanted to rush out and fight with Tianya when that old man screamed and cursed outside his city, but the man behind him forbade him from going out. However, this man was quite powerful. 2 years ago, during Nan Feiyu's inheritance test, this man made Nan Feiyu inherit 1/10 of Nan Changfeng's power. Just this 1/10 was enough for him to prove to the world that his son was the reincarnation of Nan Changfeng. All of this was all because of this man. Nanfang pondered for a moment and asked, "When will all the inheritance left behind by Nan Changfeng be inherited by my son?" The man in black sneered. "You don't have to think about this matter yet. Your son is not the reincarnation of Nan Changfeng after all, so I don't have any other way for the time being." Nan Fong sighed with some disappointment, but did not say more. He pondered for a short while and asked, "Can Nan Luo enter Tianya's manor again this time? If she wants to enter Tianya's manor, she has to stay away from the two people, Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian. Otherwise, she will easily be discovered by them." The man in black was silent for a moment before he slowly spoke again. "Well, I will take care of her. If there is nothing more, I will go out first. We will discuss it again after Nan Luo has woken up." After Nan Fong said that, he walked out of the study room in large strides. The man in black stared at Nan Fang's back as he left, and his figure gradually disappeared into the wooden room. Nan Changfeng, the 9th emperor. After 1,000 years, I don't know if you guys still remember me. Me for extra chapters. And this time, not only Nan Changfeng, all those who are related to you, all will die. I will not give you the chance to come back to this world. Meanwhile, all the people in Nint Gate were busy with a lot of work. They had to deal with Tianya and think of ways to get close to Nan Qiyu. More importantly, Huiyan's daughter had disappeared. She was his only child. He loved his daughter and often gave her all the best things in the world. However, someone had dared to kidnap Huiyan's only daughter. It was like they were pulling the tiger's fur, looking for death. The people of Nine Gate did not care about the trouble from Tianya. They were all sent to the entire land of no return to look for Huiyu. Just as Nine Gate was anxious about this, Maiden Huiyu suddenly appeared on her own. After hearing the news, Huiyan hurried out, and from afar, he saw the girl standing at the doorway. His eyes were red, and he hurriedly rushed toward her. Where have you been? Who has taken you away? Tell father. Father will go to settle accounts with him." The young girl looked up in a daze. Her gaze blanked and dumbfounded as she stared at the old man in front of her. Yes, the one standing in front of her was an old man. Huiyan had a daughter quite late in life, but he loved her and pampered her. His heart was quietly relieved as he saw her safe and sound. However, if he knew who had taken his daughter away, he would never forgive them. Huiyu was a little lost, and she regained her sense after seeing the old man's concerned eyes. Her voice was hoarse, and she hesitated for a long while before she managed to say a few words. "I'm fine. It's good that you're fine." The old man's eyes teared as he went forward and pulled the young girl into his arms. The young girl's face was pale, but Huiyan did not ask anything more. He called his men. "Take the young lady to rest. Prepare some meals for the young lady, and then bathe her well. She looks dirty." The young girl's body stiffened for a moment and subconsciously grabbed the old man's sleeve. Such care was something she had never enjoyed in all these years. The only feeling she had was the fear of death. She had thought that all the daughters in this world were treated like her, until she met Feng Ruqing and the people of Nine Gate. The young girl pursed her lips and shook her head. "No, I can do it myself." "What nonsense! Let these servants serve you. When have you ever done anything yourself?" The old man looked confused. The young girl trembled slightly. She pursed her lips. How nice it would be to be like this for the rest of your life. She also wanted someone to love her and spoil her. So when she saw Suyi back then, it was like seeing hope. That was why she tried every possible way to get Suyi to marry her father. However, in the end she still failed to make Suyi like her, me for extra chapters. The young girl looked at the old man's concerned eyes. However, just at this moment, she inexplicably remembered Nan Fang's words before letting her go. She trembled a little, and hurriedly lowered her head. No, I can't rely on him. If this time she did not complete the task, Nan Fang would expose her, and Nine Gate would never let her go. Thinking of this, the young girl raised her eyes and smiled gently. All right, father. Huiyan subconsciously sighed with relief. He felt weird because his daughter used to be lazy and never did anything on her own. But why did she say she wanted to do something herself now? She must have suffered a lot. The servant helped the young girl to leave. The old man's face sank. He then shouted coldly, "Guard, find out who kidnapped my daughter. Even if she has returned, I will not let anyone who bullied her go." Yes, your holiness. The two guards following the old man cupped their fists respectfully and retreated. Huiyan clenched his fists tightly as his breathing grew heavy. He did not know what kind of hardship his daughter had endured outside. But now, she had changed a bit, and was not as lively as before. Before this, she would have jumped into his arms for comfort after being away for days. But this time, she was different. She was quiet, making him more angry and heartbroken. 9 Gates. Inside a luxurious room, Nan Luo's fingers brushed across the table as she walked toward the bed. She looked somewhat amazed. In Land of No Return, the Nan family's status was not lower than 9 Gate. And she was the eldest young lady of the Nan family. Her status was also equal to Huiyu. But what they had here was indeed different from the Nan family. Please let me out. Let me out. Within her soul, another voice came. It was filled with endless grief, weak and almost inaudible. Nan Luo looked down and tried to shut the voice. The pain of death resurfaced in her mind, causing her to tremble in fear. You better stay there silently and wait for your death. Indeed, only one soul could exist in a body. The current Huiyu was not completely gone yet. Nan Luo opened her eyes slowly. These 2 years of life were like a nightmare. If she returned to the Nan family, Nan Fong would be even crueler to her. Therefore, she could not return to the Nan family. In the future, she would have only one identity, the daughter of the venerable Hui Yen of 9 Gate. Huiyu, please don't hurt any people at 9 Gate. Please, the voice continued, annoying Nan Luo. Shut up. I'm now a member of 9 Gate. How can I hurt 9 Gate? But everything you have is already mine. Nan Luo smiled. This smile was so cold, and she no longer had a timid look. No one knew there was evil hidden beneath this innocent face. The voice finally did not speak again, and Nan Luo felt that the whole sky was finally quiet. The sound of the door opening from outside the door made her slowly turn around. She saw a servant entering. Young lady, this is the meal prepared for you by His Holiness. Me for extra chapters. A whole long tray of delicious food was carried into the room by the servants and respectfully placed in front of her. Nan Luo had never been treated like this when she was in the Nan family. Often, the only one who had this kind of treatment was Nan Feiyu. So after experiencing this, her heart was quite touched. Perhaps, it would be nice if she could stay in 9 Gate forever. For a moment, this thought sprang up in Nan Luo's heart, causing her to be startled for a moment. She lowered her head, covering the shock behind her eyes. She pursed her lips and said, "You guys can leave now." "Yes, young lady." The servants put the meals on the table and left the room. Nan Luo stared at the table full of delicious meals, and her heart trembled slightly. No, I won't be able to stay here in peace. That bastard Nan Fong will never let me go. Nan Luo bit her lip hard. If she wanted to stay, she had to get rid of Nan Fong. Perhaps Nan Fong did not know that once a person's heart had been betrayed, she would no longer be submissive to him. If there were enough opportunity, she would still betray him. General manner. Tianya rushed in, and from afar, he saw the woman standing in the courtyard. His eyes were red, and tears appeared in his eyes. Chinger, the woman looked up, and her gaze fell upon Tianya's pale face. After 2 years of not seeing him, Tianya was even older than before. His white hair made her heart ache. Chapter 1894. He's still jealous. The woman looked and immediately saw Tianya, who was standing not far away. She was slightly stunned and said with a smile, "You're back." "Yes, I'm back." Tianya's eyes were moist. He could not believe that he would see his granddaughter again so soon. He raised his hand, wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes, and smiled faintly. "I'm glad you're fine." He finally could say these words, which he had been waiting to say for 2 long years. The stone hovering over his heart finally fell away. Little 9. Big Black rushed toward Feng Ruching with eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, a cold aura stopped him before he could get close to Feng Ruching, sending chills down his spine. Big Black transformed into a young man in the sky, looking at Feng Ruching with sad eyes. "Nan Xian, don't scare him for now. I need him to help me." Feng Ruching smiled at Nan Xian gently, then turned his gaze to Big Black. "Big Black, I heard that your blood could temporarily seal the demon inside a human's body." Big Black was created from the surrounding spiritual qi, so his blood contained powerful spiritual energy. which had many powerful effects. The young man blinked. Fuchin told you, right? Little Nine, has someone been possessed by a demon? Well, it's Chena. Chena? Tianya stared blankly at Feng Ruching. Has our family received a guest? And he is possessed by a demonic spirit? Feng Ruching froze. She looked up at Tianya and pondered for a moment. Has no one told you that you have a grandson? Tianya rubbed his head and was a little hesitant as he said, It seems like someone has mentioned it, but I don't really remember. Feng Ruching was speechless. Tianya looked at Feng Ruching and asked, Do you need my help? She shook her head. No need for the time being. Big Black can help me. Grandfather, I think. It's time to settle the score with the Nan family and Nine Gate. I need you to prepare for this. Me for extra chapters. She suddenly had a feeling that their peaceful days would not last long. Tianya looked down. He did not see Nan Fong when he went to Nan City with Big Black. That bastard was like a shrinking turtle, hiding in Nan City and not coming out. Chinger, the current situation of Nan City is a bit complicated now. They have set up several formations to guard the city gate. Some of the skilled masters who attacked us back then are hiding in Nan City. I think it's not that easy to attack them. Formations? Feng Ruching stroked her chin. A cold light flashed in her eyes. When the time comes, I'll go and take a look. Big Black, come with me. Chainer is still waiting for us. Oh, all right. The young man glared at Nan Xian. Humph. So what if Little Nine is yours now? She still needs me. And there are some things that only I can do for her. Chinger. Nan Xian looked at Big Black and smiled faintly. He then walked toward Feng Ruching. I'm with you. He wrapped his arm around her waist and glanced at Big Black coldly. Big Black froze, clenching his fists tightly. At this moment, he had to admit that he was still jealous of Nan Xian. I can't wait to break this bastard into pieces and snatch Little Nine back. Big Black stared at Nan Xian with eyes full of hatred. If he could kill Nan Xian's blood would have splattered all over the place in the blink of an eye. Feng Chen saw the oncoming crowd from afar in the middle of the silent backyard, and a smile broke upon his cold face. Ching. His voice was warm, only when he was facing Feng Ruching. Tianya's eyes were fixed upon Feng Chen. He then smiled and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. At least he's better than that kid Feng Tianwu. The old housekeeper who followed behind Tianya was a bit sweaty. General, you weren't like this when you met young lady back then. Sure enough, General loves his granddaughter more than his grandson. Feng Chen frowned and looked at Tianya in confusion. He turned to look at Feng Ruching again. There was a hint of stubbornness in his gaze. Ching, who are they? In these few days, perhaps because he had always been with her, Feng Chen had recovered a lot. The only thing that remained the same was that he still could not remember these people. But, Tianya frowned, this kid's blood is somewhat special. As far as I know, he should have been restricted from even cultivating at first. I don't know how he recovered. When Feng Ruching first met Feng Chen, he was already unable to make any breakthrough. She did not know how Feng Chen had followed her to land of no return, and what he had gone through all these years. It was so heartbreaking to see him in such a condition. I'll talk to you about these things later. Big Black, I want you to help me. Feng Ruching's eyes fell upon the young man's handsome face. Chainer, come with me. Feng Chen smiled brightly, but his smile was always reserved only for Feng Ruching. Me for extra chapters. His smile disappeared instantly when facing others, leaving only a cold expression. If it were not because Feng Chen was Feng Ruching's brother, perhaps Nan Xian would have misunderstood Feng Chen's feelings for her. General. The old housekeeper stood behind Tianya, looking at Feng Ruching's departing figure, and asked respectfully, Can young master? I trust Chinger. Old housekeeper, summon all skilled masters. The Nan family has hurt my granddaughter. I will never let him go. A cold light flashed in Tianya's eyes. Yes, General. Young lady has woken up, and young master is back. It seems like land of no return is no longer a land of peace now. But all of this is long predestined. The Nan family had dared to attack Tianya. It proved that the conflict between the two sides had reached the point where they could not coexist in the same territory. The old housekeeper left. The sun was warm, but it could not melt Tianya's cold gaze. Nan Fong, I don't care who's behind you. You can't escape from me again, and I won't ever give up till I find you. Ever since Feng Ruching brought Big Black to treat Feng Chen, they had not left the room since 3 days ago. Feng Chen had just returned, but he was the young master of General Manor. Of course, everyone in General Manor was so worried about him. Even Xia Xia sat at the door waiting for them for 3 days. She placed her hand on her cheek, looking at the closed door unblinkingly, until 3 days later, the door was slowly opened. Feng Ruching walked out. Her face was calm, expressionless. However, seeing her calm expression, everyone understood that she had succeeded. Xiao Qing. Tang Yin walked toward Feng Ruching, and her face was filled with joy. Did you succeed? Yes. Feng Ruching nodded slightly. We have sealed the demon, but Chainer suffered a lot of injuries, and he still doesn't know anyone else besides me. But now we don't need to worry about him getting sick again. Even if I'm not here, it's still safe. As for getting rid of it completely, that would be somewhat difficult. Sealing the demon was quite simple. Either Nan Xian or Feng Ruching could do it. However, the demon had almost taken over all of his body and his heart. Only with Big Black's blood could help him regain his control over his body. Big Black followed behind Feng Ruching, pouting. I've lost almost a spoonful of blood this time. Little Nine must help me replenish my energy. Feng Ruching paused for a moment. Big Black has great blood, and its meat is also a great tonic. I still remember when Mu Ling was trying to help Chen Qingyan catch Big Black back then. The day she met Big Black, Mu Ling happened to be there, but she knew that Nan Xian was following her, so she left early, leaving only the Mu family behind. Really? Me for extra chapters. Xia Xia's eyes lit up. She turned to Big Black, subconsciously swallowed her saliva that almost flowed out. Big Black trembled as he took a few steps back. Little girl, my meat is not tasty. It's bitter. Oh, Xia Xia smiled. Now Uncle Dragon is in human form. Xia Xia will not eat people, but when Uncle turns into a dragon, I will eat your meat. Big Black froze. He would never turn into a dragon again. Little Nine, don't let this little girl and Qing Han play with each other. Look at this girl. She wants to eat everything. Big Black huffed and puffed. Feng Ruching smiled faintly. She raised her hand and touched Xia Xia's small head, then looked at Big Black. You're not a real dragon. Big Black was the surrounding spiritual qi that transformed into a dragon, and he was not really a dragon. Feng Ruching turned to Tang Yin and asked, Where is grandfather? Tang Yin blinked. In the study room. He's been waiting for you. All right, Feng Ruching smiled. Tang Yin, because of the last incident, you and my cousin's wedding did not go on as we planned. We will reorganize it then, but I have to settle the Nan family first. Tang Yin was stunned. Her cheeks were slightly red as Nailan Jing's face suddenly appeared in her mind. She shook her head and said, I do not want to marry him. I want to be with Xiao Qing. In that instant, Nan Xian glanced at Tang Yin coldly, causing Tang Yin to shut her mouth suddenly. Oh, so this dog will not allow me to go near Xiao Qing. Then I will be her cousin's sister-in-law. In the future, Gu Yi and I will be his elders. I want to see how he will drive us away. Feng Ruching smiled, did not stay any longer, and went to the study room with Nan Xian. Inside the study room, Tianya frowned as if he was thinking of something serious. The door pushed open. He looked up and saw 2 familiar figures pushing open the door and walking in. Tianya stood up and smiled as he walked toward them. Qing or Nan Xian, you've come out? Back when he first met Feng Ruching, he was very disapproving of this kid Nan Xian. After all, he had not even met his granddaughter yet, and she had already married someone, so it was a little upsetting to think about it. However, over time, he could gradually accept Nan Xian. Moreover, Nan Xian had sacrificed a lot when Feng Ruching was unconscious for 2 years. Even his hair had become as white as snow. When are we going to find the Nan family? Feng Ruching lowered her gaze. The Nan family had not only tried to hurt Suyi, but they were the real culprit who had spread the news about Tang Yin, inciting the battle in General Manor 2 years ago. The old and new grudges would be settled together. There have been some changes in Land of No Return in these few days. Do you still remember Spirit Beast Mountain? Spirit Beast Mountain was where Feng Ruching went when she first came to Land of No Return. Me for extra chapters. And that was the place she had met the group of leopards. What happened to Spirit Beast Mountain? Recently, the spirit beasts on Spirit Beast Mountain all seem to be crazy. I suspect that Nan Fong must have done something to them. The Nan family has controlled all the spirit beasts in Land of No Return. The old master Nan said that Nan Fong has a drug that can make people confused. He is relying on this drug to get the spirit beasts. The spirit beasts had always been arrogant, and it was hard to tame them. Because of the drug in his hands, he could control those spirit beasts and use them as his slaves. Nan Fong was also called a godlike figure by the Nan family. What else does Nan Fong need these spirit beasts for? Feng Ruching frowned. Initially, Nan Fong was weak, and he needed the spirit beasts to consolidate his power. But now that he had reached this level, he should not require the spirit beast. I'm not sure. Maybe. He feels that all the spirit beasts belong to him, and he does not want others to have them. Tianya sneered. Feng Ruching lowered her gaze. The spirit beasts don't belong to anyone. They have the right to choose their master. Feng Ruching had never forced the spirit beasts to work with her. She only used some offer of benefits to tempt them. It was equivalent to an employment relationship, which later developed into a master-servant relationship. However, if any spirit beast wanted to leave, she would not stop them. Every spirit beast had the right to choose for itself. I don't know much about the details. Spirit Beast Mountain is not safe now. Many people have been attacked there. And if I'm not mistaken, Nan Fong is hiding something in Spirit Beast Mountain. That's why he had driven all the spirit beasts crazy to stop others from approaching Spirit Beast Mountain. So what is Nan Fong hiding? Feng Ruching stroked her chin and pondered for a moment. Suddenly she laughed out loud. Grandfather, Suyi once said that the Nan family has many formations. It's not impossible to break in. It just takes a little longer, so since Nan Fong doesn't allow anyone to go near Spirit Beast Mountain, why don't we just go there and force him out? What's more? A cold light flashed in Feng Ruching's eyes. I want to know why the spirit beasts are going crazy. All right, Tianya nodded. Then I'll start preparing now, and we'll go to Spirit Beast Mountain tonight. I want to kill that bastard. Smiling, Feng Ruching turned around and walked toward the door. She saw Suyi standing in front of her from a distance, and she slowly walked to Suyi's side. Grandfather and I have decided to go to Spirit Beast Mountain. Nan Fong will come and stop us. Even if he is unwilling to leave Nan City, he will definitely come. Do you want to go with me or? Suyi smiled faintly. Of course we'll go together. Her answer was what Feng Ruching had expected. After all, Suyi's hatred for Nan Fong was not less than theirs. Well, then I'll go prepare some herbal dishes. And I also have to see Xia Xia. Feng Ruching always worried about Xia Xia. Xia Xia was still young. No matter how strong she once was, she could not protect herself now. All right, Suyi smiled. I also have to do some preparation. Feng Ruching nodded and turned around, walking toward the backyard. Nan Xian kept following her smilingly. Qinger, I'm always with you. Feng Ruching paused and smiled. I know. No matter what, Nan Xian would always stay with her. Me for extra chapters. When Feng Ruching stepped into the courtyard, she saw Qiu Hui playing with Xia Xia. 2 years ago, after Qiu Hui knew something had happened to General Manor, she rushed back, and she was the one who brought Xia Xia back. Qiu Hui. Qiu Hui stood up and turned to look at Feng Ruching. Maiden Feng, you're here? Qiu Hui, we will be leaving General Manor tonight. I will leave Xia Xia in your care. Feng Ruching's voice was as firm as her expression. Qiu Hui froze for a moment. She lowered her head and suddenly laughed out loud. When the people of Nine Gate wanted to take Xia Xia away, you should know that I am a venerable member of Nine Gate. Now you are leaving, but you want to leave her in my care? Are you not afraid that I will bring her to Nine Gate? Feng Ruching smiled faintly. I trust you. If you want to take Xia Xia away, you had many opportunities in those 2 years when I was unconscious. Everyone else is coming with me tonight, and the only one I can trust is you. Qiu Hui froze. She felt a sense of warmth filling her heart. She was a member of Nine Gate. Yet Feng Ruching still trusted her. This feeling of trust warmed her heart. Moreover, Feng Ruching paused. I believe in grandfather. He had such a good relationship with you before proves that you're a good woman. Xiaohui was speechless. Maiden Feng, have you forgotten about Feng Lianqing? Tianya had taken Feng Lianqing in. She looked quiet. And no one would have expected that she would cause so much trouble in the end. Mother! Xia Xia pounced over and hugged Feng Ruching's thighs. She looked at her without blinking. Are you and father going out again? Feng Ruching looked down at the little girl in front of her, smiled, and stroked her small head. Well, this time, we have some things we need to take care of. Xia Xia, just listen to your Aunt Chio at home. We'll be back soon. Oh, Xia Xia was a little lost. Her eyes were full of reluctance. Father and mother, you must come back as soon as possible. They'll wait for you at home. Feng Ruching did not say more. She turned to look at Nan Xian and smiled. Nan Xian, we can go now. Nan Xian nodded. He reached out and pulled Feng Ruching into his arms. Let's go, don't let them wait too long. Suyi and Tianya got ready quickly. And now they were probably ready to leave. Tang Yin appeared behind Feng Ruching. She bit her lip and stood silent for a few seconds before walking up to Feng Ruching. Xiaoqing, can I go with you? Feng Ruching was slightly stunned. She turned to look at Tang Yin, pondered for a while. You and Xiaoye stay here. I need more people in general manner to protect Xia Xia. Don't worry. We won't go for too long this time. We'll be back soon. Oh, Tang Yin pouted. At such a time, she wanted to accompany Feng Ruching. However, she understood that with her strength, even if she went, she would only be a burden to Feng Ruching. Tang Yin clenched her fists tightly. She became more determined. Previously, she had never thought of trying to cultivate, and even the Tang family did not allow her to cultivate. However, after she met Feng Ruching, she somewhat understood how important it was to be strong and not only rely on others. If she were stronger now, she would have already followed Feng Ruching and fought with her, rather than watching her from behind. Me for extra chapters. Xiaoye opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but she stopped herself. Don't worry. You can leave this place to us. Her voice was beautiful. That one accident had made her shed her scarred skin and regained her voice. Feng Ruching nodded slightly. She looked at Xia Xia with some reluctance, and finally turned toward the main gate. Xia Xia stared at Feng Ruching, and she somehow felt a sense of unease in her heart. Her eyes were wet with tears. Xia Xia. Qiuhui squatted and said gently, Don't worry, they will be back soon. I will take care of you during this time. Xia Xia nodded. She understood that this time her parents would do something very important. Even if she did not want them to leave, she could not stop them. After all, she had to be a good and obedient child, so that her mother would love her more. Qiuhui let out a soft sigh as she raised her head and looked up into the sky. I hope Nine Gate will not interfere in this matter. Otherwise, I can't help them if anything happens to them. She grew up in Nine Gate, and she was also a member of Nine Gate for years. She still cared about Nine Gate and was worried. However, she understood that what Nine Gate had done to Xia Xia and Feng Ruching was really unacceptable. In Spirit Beast Mountain, the entire mountain looked desolate. The leopard clan followed Feng Ruching into this place again, and they were all quite heartbroken. After all, this mountain was where they had lived for many years, but now it had become so desolate and lifeless. From afar, they could already sense powerful energy hidden within Spirit Beast Mountain, and they could not help but walk more cautiously. Feng Ruching brought a Hua and other leopards with her, because they were more familiar with this mountain terrain, so it was convenient to make any move. The old master Nan once mentioned that Nan Fong was using a drug to make the spirit beasts lose their minds and finally obey him. I guess, Feng Ruching frowned. He has probably used a root from an enchanted tree to make the drug. The enchanted tree was an ancient tree that grew in the deepest part of Spirit Beast Mountain. It was rumored that anyone who got close to this tree would be mentally affected and lose their sanity. Feng Ruching did not know how Nan Fong had obtained it, but she had a way to remove its effect. I have prepared some spirit herbs here. I will use the spirit herbs to boil the soup. Ahua! You think of a way to lure all the spirit beasts here and make them drink the soup. It can help them regain their senses. I'm afraid only these spirit beasts know what happened in Spirit Beast Mountain. Yes, master. Ahua answered obediently and left with the leopards. Feng Ruching took out all the pots and pans and used the tree branches to light a fire and set the pot on top of the tree branches. Nan Xian, Tianya, and the others stood quietly, listening to the movements around them. Only the sound of the wind whistling passed, but that powerful oppressive energy did not dissipate. A few minutes later, a faint aroma wafted out of the pot. Wild footsteps came from not far away. Feng Ruching looked up and saw that the leopards were chased by a group of spirit beasts behind them. Me for extra chapters. The group of spirit beasts looked fierce with red eyes and open mouths, ready to bite. Fortunately, the leopards were very fast and dodged the bites. Feng Ruching was stunned. She had asked the leopard to lure the spirit beasts over, and it seemed that the way they had lured them over was not very friendly. She felt that these spirit beasts were ready to tear the leopard apart. However, when the group of spirit beasts approached, a refreshing aroma forced them to stop in their tracks. The Nan family was very petty. They thought that these spirit beasts had been bewitched and could never betray them. Therefore, they would rarely feed the spirit beasts and mostly leave them to eat some leaves and fruits in the forests. When they smelled this tempting aroma, all the spirit beasts could not help but walk toward the pot. A wolf ran the fastest. That wolf looked a bit like a snow wolf. It rushed straight to the pot, and out came its tongue to lick the herbal soup inside the pot. The other spirit beasts also came forward and tried to get some of the soup, afraid that they would not have a chance to taste it. This group of spirit beasts quickly lapped up the whole pot of herbal soup. They were like wolves seeing meat. Eyes were flashing with madness. Once the spirit beasts drank the herbal soup, they were no longer as hungry as before, and no longer chased the leopard. They turned around and wanted to leave. But just at this moment, the wolf that was the first to drink the soup suddenly fell to the ground and let out a wailing sound. Howl! This sound was so miserable that it seemed to have a chain effect. And the other spirit beasts were also in pain and could not stand up, as if their internal organs were in severe pain. When the leopard saw such a miserable situation, it subconsciously trembled and took a few steps back. Master said she wanted to help the spirit beasts regain their senses? But why does it look like she's trying to kill them? Time passed. The sky was already dark. The group of spirit beasts was much better. They spat mouthfuls of dirty blood. Their eyes were no longer red and had become as clear as water. Ahua, you go and lure all the other spirit beasts over again. I'll prepare another batch of soup. Yes, master. Ahua howled and led the leopard group toward the depths of Spirit Beast Mountain, Nan Manor. Within the majestic study room, Nan Fang's expression was cold as he listened to the report from his men. He slowly stood up and said expressionlessly, Tianya went to Spirit Beast Mountain? Ha ha ha. They have a death wish. I already know about that. How is Nan Luo doing in Nine Gate? Master, the people of Nine Gate did not suspect anything. She is being treated very well there. The old man's voice trembled a little when he said this. He had witnessed how Nan Fang killed Nan Luo, and how she was reborn by taking the girl's body. If he could do such a ruthless thing to his daughter, no one knew what would happen to the people in this mainland if he ruled Land of No Return. Me for extra chapters. Initially, the Nan family enjoyed the help that Nan Fang brought to them. The Nan family could have a powerful spirit beast on hand because of him, and no other forces dared to mess with the Nan family again. Moreover, the young master of the Nan family, Nan Feiyu, was also the reincarnation of their great ancestor. The Nan family soon would regain their glory. However, later, he noticed that Nan Fang was crueler than he thought. It made people scared of him. Nan Fang's face was expressionless. Watch Nan Luo carefully. We can't allow her to have any chance to betray us again. If she dares to do so, just bring her back, and I'll get someone else in. The old man trembled and lowered his head. Nan Fang sneered. She has betrayed me once before. Of course, I'll be more careful with this girl. I've treated my daughter well. After all, when she is 9 gate, she can enjoy what she cannot enjoy in the Nan family. And this kind of opportunity, I will not give to others. The old man was silent. Perhaps young lady does not want such an opportunity. What she wanted more was to live well. But master was so determined that no one could persuade him and stop him from killing her daughter. Yes, master, the old man replied respectfully. You can go now. He waved his hand indifferently, his face expressionless. The old man turned around and left the study room. 9 gate. In the middle of the quiet courtyard, the young girl stood in front of the window, stretched out her fingers, and allowed a flying bird to land on her fingertips. She then withdrew her hand and turned to the servant, who was serving her smilingly. Give the menu I want today to the kitchen. Yes, young lady. The servant led the order and retreated. Once all the servants left, the smile on the young girl's face suddenly disappeared. She grabbed the bird's beak and pulled out a slip of paper from its mouth. The slip of paper was very thin and long, and it was stained with the bird's saliva. The young girl's face changed dramatically after she saw what was written on the white paper. In a few days, make sure that the people of 9 gate go to Spirit Beast Mountain. If you fail to do so, you will be responsible for the consequences. This handwriting was too familiar to the young girl, and she lowered her gaze to cover the hatred in her eyes. But after hearing the sound of footsteps outside the door, she thought no more. A flame appeared from her palm, and she quickly burnt the note and cleaned the ashes. Creak. The door of the room was pushed open. Huiyan walked in through the door smilingly. He glanced at the bird in the young girl's hand, and did not react to it. How are you today? Nan Luo smiled faintly. Father, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me. Good. Huiyan touched her head as he smiled warmly. Can you tell father who kidnapped you? Nan Luo panicked a little. She lowered her head and looked somewhat sad. Huiyan's heart ached, and he could not bear to press on again. It's fine if you don't want to say it. I will go and find out by myself. No one can bully my daughter. At that moment, Huiyan's words hit Nan Luo's heart hard. She raised her head, and tears welled up in her eyes. What's wrong? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Do you want a physician to take a look? Nan Luo wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and lowered her head. Me for extra chapters. I'm fine. I'll be fine after resting for a while. How great would it be if Huiyan is my father? No one had cared about her, except Suyi. Even though Suyi said nothing, she still saved her from her mother's punishment. But then, why did Suyi suddenly hate her? Nan Luo bit her lip hard, sobbing in her heart. If only there were no Feng Ruching, Suyi would not have misunderstood her, and she would not have suffered like today. However, compared to Feng Ruching, the person she wanted to destroy more than anything else was Nan Fong. Father, Nan Luo raised her head. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I don't remember what happened to me. But I remember a place called Spirit Beast Mountain. Spirit Beast Mountain? Huiyan fell silent. He had heard about the strange thing that happened in Spirit Beast Mountain this past few days. However, he was busy with her daughter and had no time to care about others. Could it be that the person who kidnapped you has something to do with Spirit Beast Mountain? Huiyan looked down. It looks like I have to send my 9 gate to Spirit Beast Mountain. Nan Luo smirked. Nan Fong, I should thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I will grasp this opportunity, never letting it go. Spirit Beast Mountain was quiet as always. However, the spirit beasts all over the mountain had followed Feng Ruching, and their eyes were no longer as fierce as before. This should be the last group. Feng Ruching frowned. But why hasn't the Nan family come yet? If these spirit beasts were important to the Nan family, Nan Fong should be afraid, and would have come over to stop them long ago. Unfortunately, he did not come. They had not seen anyone from the Nan family since they came to Spirit Beast Mountain. Nan Xian walked toward Feng Ruching. I don't know what the Nan family is planning, so we should be careful. Feng Ruching nodded. She then turned to the group of spirit beasts in front of her. Before we came, did the people from the Nan family come to Spirit Beast Mountain? These spirit beasts were quite strong and could speak like a human, So after hearing Feng Ruking's words, a wolf slowly opened its mouth. The people of the Nan family have not come to Spirit Beast Mountain. However, I vaguely remember that they have asked us to guard something. What is that? I'm not sure. It is in the depths of the mountain range. We've never been inside because the Nan family did not allow us to enter. Feng Ruqing turned to Tianya. Let's go see. Me for extra chapters. Alright, Tianya nodded. I too want to know what he is hiding in the depths of Spirit Beast Mountain. Feng Ruqing looked down. Although these spirit beasts have regained their sanity, there are many traps in Spirit Beast Mountain. Would better leave during the day. Some traps were laid by the Nan family, and these spirit beasts rarely walk around outside, so it was not practical to rely on them alone. Spirit Beast Mountain is indeed safer during the day than at night. We will camp for the night, and leave tomorrow morning. This time they did not bring many people. Apart from Feng Ruking's family, there were only Tang Yin and Feng Lianqing, and a few guards with good strength. Soon, those guards set up the tent and stood by, respectfully waiting. It was already late. Tianya had just settled down to rest when his ears suddenly twitched, and he instantly opened his eyes. Who is it? His voice was cold. Suddenly, a laugh came from behind him. Tianya turned to look, and saw an old man approaching him slowly. A beautiful young girl followed this old man. There was also a group of skilled masters, staring at Tianya sternly. Tianya clenched his fists and sneered. These days I've been busy dealing with the Nan family. I haven't had the time to settle accounts with Nine Gate. But I didn't expect you to come to me. Huiyan laughed out loud. Tianya, long time no see. Your temper is still bad. But this time I am not here to argue with you. I am here for my daughter. Nine Gate. A burst of anger surged in Feng Ruking's heart. She would never forget how Nine Gate had tried to abduct her daughter. She almost lost Xia, and it was all because of Nine Gate. Feng Ruking's heart was burning with anger, as she looked at the people from Nine Gate with eyes filled with murderous intent. Nan Xian looked up and glanced at them coldly. Your daughter? Tianya sneered. He glanced at Nan Luo coldly. With just one glance, he already had a bad feeling about this girl. He had seen Huiyu before, but he did not feel this way. This time, he did not know what was wrong that made him feel uncomfortable with this girl around him. Mother, Fu Chen's soft voice came from the medium. There's something familiar about that woman's scent. Feng Ruqing was slightly stunned. She frowned as she looked at Huiyu. Are you sure? Yes, her breath is not emitted by the body. I can feel the breath of her soul. Very familiar, as if I had seen her somewhere, but I can't remember. Fu Chen was a bit distressed. He had met so many people these years, so it was really difficult to figure out why this breath would make him feel familiar. There's something wrong with this woman. Feng Ruqing and Nan Xian looked at each other, even though they did not yet know why her scent was familiar. But Fu Chen had said so. Then they must have seen her before. Only this face was indeed unfamiliar. Yes. Huiyan's face was cold. My daughter has lost some memories. I brought her here to find her memories again. Tianya, I hope what has happened to my daughter has nothing to do with you. Otherwise, I will definitely not let you go. Haha, me for extra chapters. Tianya laughed sarcastically. You think I would let you go? Tianya laughed again. You tried to snatch Xia back then. I never had time to settle this score with you. But do you think I have already forgotten, or didn't dare to find you? He had never forgotten the hatred. It was only because there were too many things going on during this period that he did not have the time to take revenge. He had been overwhelmed by anger after what Nan Fong had done to General Manor, and only wanted to settle accounts with the Nan family. But after the Nan family, Nine Gate would be next. Huiyan sneered. She can only be better trained if she is in Nine Gate. We are doing it for her good. But you don't understand anything and stubbornly insist on limiting her future. Feng Ruqing suddenly stepped forward. The woman's eyes were cold, and her face expressionless. Xia's future? Her future will be ruined by Nine Gate. Just like your daughter, so weak. Where is her future? How dare you? Huiyan was furious. Feng Ruqing smirked. Or can you consider leaving her with me for the sake of her future? You, Hui Yan pointed at Feng Ruching angrily. Tianya, your granddaughter is so vicious that she wants to snatch my daughter. Ridiculous. Tianya looked at Hui Yan coldly. So you're not vicious if you want to snatch our Xia Xia. But my granddaughter is vicious when she only says a word? The people from Nine Gate are really powerful, making me admire them to the core. Tianya laughed sarcastically and clapped his hands. Boom. Hui Yan's eyes were red, and his entire body emitted a cold aura. Nan Xian walked up to Feng Ruching and stood next to her. Father! Suddenly, a soft voice came from the side, causing Hui Yan's cold aura to fade away. We came here to make me recall what happened, so don't take it too seriously with them. It's late now. Can we also camp here? She smiled warmly. Immediately, Hui Yan's anger subsided, and he glanced at Tianya and the others. For the sake of my daughter, I will not bother with you today. Your word does not count here. Tianya laughed out coldly. However, just as he was about to strike, Feng Ruching suddenly raised his hand and stopped him. Tianya froze and turned to look at Feng Ruching, his gaze blank. Chinga, I'm tired. Let's rest first. We'll talk about other things later. Faced with Feng Ruching's decision, Tianya was puzzled. However, he understood that Feng Ruching must have her reason, so he did not say more. He grunted coldly and walked toward the tent. Feng Ruching and Nan Xian glanced at the crowd for the last time and left. Hui Yan turned away from them and looked at Hui Yu with a much gentler look. Let's stay away from these people. We don't know what they will do in secret. All right, me for extra chapters. The young girl lowered her head and smiled faintly, hiding the cold light in her eyes. Tianya sat down inside the tent, stared at Feng Ruching in front of him, and asked, Chinger, tell me, what's going on? Feng Ruching and Nan Xian looked at each other before looking at Tianya. That girl called Hui Yu. Something is familiar about her. Familiar? Yes. Fu Chen told me that her scent is familiar, but I'm sure that I haven't seen her before, so I want to know what she wants from us. Tianya was slightly stunned, and the doubt in his gaze grew even more. Nan Xian smiled and said, I also feel something weird about her. Her breath makes me very uncomfortable. It was not only Feng Ruching who felt this way. Even Nan Xian felt the same. Tianya pondered for a moment. Hui Yan does have a daughter. His wife died in childbirth, so he loves his daughter so much. If you said there's something wrong with that girl, what should we do now? Wait, Feng Ruching frowned. I feel that she will come to me. Tianya stood up panicked. Then you can't meet her again. He must not put his granddaughter in danger. Feng Ruching smiled and shook her head. Don't worry. She can't hurt me. I need to find out who she is. Even if we secretly kill her, maybe there will be other conspiracies behind the scenes. So now we can only wait for her to reveal her identity, and I feel like all this is related to the Nan family. The Nan family? Indeed. Feng Ruching smiled faintly and said, How is the relationship between the Nan Fang and Nine Gate these days? Tianya pondered for a short while. I don't know what happened between them. Before this, both of them had reunited. I recently heard that there's a conflict between them, and they have lost contact since. Maybe Nine Gate can't bear with Nan Fang's evil behavior? Tianya sneered. If the Nan family is evil, then what about Nine Gate? They're just the same. One has lost his morality and killed people recklessly, while the other one has tried to separate a mother with her daughter. Therefore, he did not feel good about both Nine Gate and the Nan family. It's getting late. Feng Ruching raised his eyebrows. State Preceptor, I'm going to wait for Hui Yu. You stay here with my grandfather. Nan Xian frowned. I'll join you. No. Feng Ruching shook her head. If you are there, she will not appear. I can feel that she is coming for me. Nan Xian stared at Feng Ruching, and after half a second, he nodded gently. All right. If something happens, just call for me, and I'll be there instantly. She won't dare to make any move because Hui Yan is here, and with her strength, there's nothing to be worried about. Nan Xian smiled faintly. Feng Ruching did not stay. She turned and walked toward her tent. The night in Spirit Beast Mountain was very quiet. Even the spirit beasts had returned to their territory to rest. Feng Ruching entered her tent. She lay down to rest. The moonlight poured in from outside the tent and fell upon her body. Suddenly, a sound of footsteps came from outside the tent. Feng Ruching slowly opened her eyes and smirked. It looks like she has really come to find me. As expected, the tent's flap was lifted, and a young girl in a long green dress stood under the moonlight. Me for extra chapters. She smiled gently. Maiden Feng. Feng Ruching sat up from the bed and asked with a faint smile. You have come to see me? Yes. Nan Luo slowly stepped inside the tent. I heard that Tianya has been fighting against the Nan family recently, but this Nan family is not so easy to deal with. I wonder if Maiden Feng would like to join hands with me? Join hands? Feng Ruching sneered. Nine Gate wants to steal my daughter. And do you think I would still want to work with Nine Gate? Nan Luo smiled. I can apologize on behalf of Nine Gate. My father has always listened to me, and I can also guarantee that such things will not happen again. And then, Feng Ruching smirked. What do you want us to do? It's simple. Join hands with me and exterminate the Nan family. A flash of hatred flashed behind Nan Luo's eyes. She wanted to destroy the Nan family, so she could stay in Nine Gate forever, and never have to be threatened again. What if? Feng Ruching frowned. I refuse to? Nan Luo smiled and walked toward Feng Ruching. Maiden Feng, you have no choice now. After all, you don't want Nine Gate to unite with the Nan family. You can see that my father will always obey me. I hope you will think about it again. Feng Ruching was stunned. Obey you? A biological daughter would never say such words about her father. This girl had confidently and arrogantly said that her father would always obey her. Feng Ruching smiled coldly and walked toward Nan Luo. What will happen if I don't agree? She maintained the calmness in her voice as she looked intently at Nan Luo, trying to find something from her face. Nan Luo sneered. I disappeared some time ago. Later, I told my father that I forgot what had happened during that time. If you disagree with me, I will tell my father and say that it was the people from Tianya's manor who kidnapped me in the first place. By then, he will join hands with Nan Feng. Maiden Feng, I hope you can think about it properly. Feng Ruching stared at Nan Luo expressionlessly, and it made Nan Luo a little panicked. Nan Luo bit her lip hard, forcing her heart to calm down. Why do you want to join forces with us? Feng Ruching asked coldly. Nan Luo was silent for a second. I just can't see what the Nan family is doing. Is that so? Feng Ruching smirked, staring at Nan Luo. Her tone was so indifferent that there was no hint of emotions, and Nan Luo was unsure if the woman believed in her. Maiden Feng, we don't know each other. What reason do you think I have to deceive you? Nan Luo forced her heart to calm down and sneered. You can only choose to believe in me now. Otherwise, you have no idea what other plans Nan Feng has. Plans? Feng Ruching looked up at Nan Luo. Nan Luo sneered. Yes. What Nan Feng wants is not just land of no return. There is someone else behind him. He wants to conquer the world. And, Nan Luo lowered her eyes. Nan Feng's son Nan Feiyu is not related to Nan Changfeng. Nan Changfeng? Feng Ruching was stunned. Me for extra chapters. Nan Luo took a deep breath and continued. Nan Changfeng is the ancestor of the Nan family. He once made a promise that he will return to the Nan family. That's why the Nan family always prioritizes male heirs. The old master Nan was an exception. He only had a daughter, Sui, and he loved her more than anything else. Nan Feng has announced that Nan Feiyu is Nan Changfeng. He did so to make sure all the members of the Nan family submitted to him. Feng Ruching was speechless. She surprisingly did not know about this matter. But Nan Feiyu is not related to Nan Changfeng. I don't know what Nan Feng has done to make the world believe in him. A cold light flashed in Nan Luo's eyes. Moreover, Nan Feng has some other purposes, and I am not clear about that. But I can only tell you one thing. There is someone behind Nan Feng, and he is working for that person. If this continues, I am afraid that many people in the world will suffer. Feng Ruching fell silent. Her gaze was fixed upon Nan Luo's face, and she asked, How do you know all this? Nan Luo panicked. She looked up at Feng Ruching with a pale face. Because the person who kidnapped me is Nan Fong. I heard it by accident. This was something that Nan Luo had heard when she was locked in the Nan family 2 years ago. She knew that if she wanted to join forces with Feng Ruqing, she had to make Feng Ruqing trust her. Oh, Feng Ruqing responded with a smile. I got it. Nan Luo was stunned and hesitantly asked. Then, I have to discuss it with Nan Xian. Hearing this name, Nan Luo's expression showed a flash of pain. Even though she hid it well, Feng Ruqing still noticed it. Feng Ruqing nodded and smiled. You go back first. Otherwise, your father will notice you're missing. All right. Nan Luo turned and looked at Feng Ruqing. I hope you can give me an answer as soon as possible. She stepped out of the tent after saying that. The moonlight poured down and fell upon Nan Luo's pale face. She looked back at the tent behind her with intense coldness in her eyes. I'll use these people first to settle Nan Fong. Feng Ruqing, I'll let you go for now. Inside the tent, Feng Ruqing sat in front of the table and poured a cup of tea when the tent's flap was suddenly lifted. She looked up and smiled gently as she saw the man who entered her tent. State Preceptor. Are you done talking? Nan Xian took his seat next to her and smiled. Well, Feng Ruqing took a sip of tea. I think I know who she is. Who? Me for extra chapters. Nan Luo. Nan Xian was slightly stunned. He frowned, pondered for a moment but still could not remember who Nan Luo was. Someone from the Nan family? Her family name was Nan, so he guessed she must be from the Nan family. Feng Ruqing was speechless. Yes, she's Nan Fang's daughter. Feng Ruqing said with a faint smile. Oh, he remembered that Nan Fang had a daughter, but forgot what her name was, and did not recognize how she looked. He only remembered that Suyi and Qinger did not like her. What did she come to see you for? Nan Xian frowned. Did she hurt you? Feng Ruqing shook her head. She is trying to join forces with me to deal with the Nan family. She's different now. Suyi once said the Nan family had hurt her countless times, but she still wanted to stay with them. Now she has 9 gate. The Nan family is no longer important to her. Suyi had a reason why she did not like Nan Luo. That girl was quite arrogant outside, because the Nan family was so powerful. She did not care about being bullied in the Nan family, and refused to leave her position as the Nan family's young lady. After all, no matter what her situation was in the Nan family, the people outside always looked at her as the high and mighty young lady Nan. Now it was different. She had the venerable Hui Yan of 9 gate as her father, so she did not need Nan Fang anymore. I think it's Nan Fang who has helped her into Hui Yan's daughter's body. I don't believe Nan Luo has the courage to commit suicide and then possess another person. Now she wants to kill Nan Fang, so that no one will know her real identity anymore. That you're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.